And you're welcome to tonight's edition of Newsnight. Headlines on Newsnight is brought to you by Eden Heights. Eden Heights, welcome home. In this edition, General Secretary of the NDC says ongoing debate over whether or not Asantehene persuaded former President Mahama to concede defeat in the 2016 elections is diversionary, insisting former President Mahama acted in the interest of the nation.
So even if that was the case, then President Mahama has demonstrated better leadership than His Excellency President Akufo-Addo on the occasion of the declaration of the results of 2012.
We'll hear more from the party as it describes as contradictory latest Economist Intelligence Unit report that predicts victory for President Akufo-Addo in next year's polls.
I don't know the group of people that they have interviewed. Did they talk to the economists? Did they talk to the ordinary Ghanaian that is feeling it? But I can only think that they are speaking the minds of the NPP. And this should be coming from the NPP.
Also in this edition, allegation of corruption without solid evidence will not attract my attention. We'll hear from President Akufo-Addo as he continues to defend his track record in the area of corruption.
Some people are complaining that some of those against whom the accusations are made are cleared. What, they want them to be convicted merely because people say so? I have not had any government like that. We want to have these things done on the basis of evidence.
And in business, the Economics Intelligence Unit forecasts 6 cities 30 pesos to the dollar by the end of this year.
And Ashanti Gold CEO Frederick Achampion believes his side have a 60% chance of qualifying to the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup.
Also, presiding member of Accra Metropolitan Assembly condemns attack on Joy News photojournalist as he reviews the Assembly is on its own probing the matter. We have all that and more here in tonight's edition of Newsnight. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp and Telegram on 0244 340 437. I am MF Apau.
And my name is Evans Mensah. We'll be crossing over to the police headquarters for a news conference that is scheduled to start shortly to address the many issues on security. Once that is underway, we'll bring that to you here on Newsnight. Stay with us.
And Newsnight is brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. We'll start off with politics tonight because the opposition NDC says the attempt by the NPP to pit former President Mahama against the Asantehene Otumfuo to the second is only a ploy to divert attention from the failures of the government. General Secretary of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who failed to confirm or deny whether the former president was persuaded to concede defeat in the 2016 elections, argued that Mr. Mahama must be commended for demonstrating quality leadership, even if he was persuaded by the Asantehene to concede defeat. Listen to the General Secretary of the NDC at a press conference a short while ago.
Unfortunately, instead of congratulating His Majesty Otumfuo, some people have sought to curl pieces of his presentation and to put their own interpretations on those presentations in a veiled attempt to create the impression that if indeed Otumfuo offered advice to His Excellency President Mahama and President Mahama took the advice into his decision to concede the outcome of the 2016 elections, then that makes President Mahama less of a Democrat. I believe that these conclusions can only come out of a thinking process that is, to say the least, warped. I don't see how these statements contradict each other so much so that it becomes the subject of a national debate designed to divert attention of the nation from very burning issues that are on the national agenda within these past weeks. Granting without admitting that even if Otumfuo advised President Mahama and President Mahama took that advice into consideration before conceding, the two statements have all agreed that Otumfuo engaged President Mahama. The sticky point is as to what point did the engagement take place and how that engagement contributed to President Mahama conceding defeat. These are the two issues that people are concerned with. First of all, if we concede that Otumfuo engaged President Mahama before his concession, I don't see how that makes President Mahama less of a Democrat. Because democracy is about listening to people, listening to opinion leaders before arriving at your decision. So even if that was the case, then President Mahama still has demonstrated better leadership than His Excellency President Akufo-Addo on the occasion of the declaration of the results of 2012. Now, on the other hand, if President Mahama took that decision to concede before Otumfuo's advice came, that still makes him a Democrat and places him and his conduct on that occasion far above the conduct of Nana Akufo-Addo in 2012. So why should the nation spend precious time debating whether Otumfuo advised the president before he took that decision to concede, or the president took the decision to concede before Otumfuo advised him? Because in either case, the president at that time displayed quality leadership.
Well, that's John Sasirin Ketia at the press conference today. Let's stay with issues with the NDC. Also being addressed tonight is the Economist Intelligence Unit report that predicted that the NPP and President Akufo-Addo, the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, will win. The NDC is describing that report as contradictory. According to a report, the EIU expects the ruling New Patriotic Party to retain power, but it is seen as a better custodian of the economy than the NDC. Well, the report, however, added that the opposition NDC can compete favorably against the NPP in the 2020 elections if it focuses on job creation and industrialization. While the governing NPP in 2016 christened its manifesto change an agenda for jobs with a promise to set up a factory in each district, but the EIU notes in its report that the development on this pledge has been slow, a situation that could boost the NDC's chances. I wanted to listen to national organizer of the party, Joshua Kamba, reacting to the EIU report.
I think there are contradictions. And why I think there are contradictions is that if you look at 2016, they actually did say that any political party that wins because of the economic management of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the kind of things John Mahama has done, whoever becomes the president was going to build on, and Ghana was going to be on a sound footing. And currently, you agree with me that the new report says that they are claiming that the MPP is a good manager in the economy. I don't know who they interviewed. Just walk to the street, speak to the ordinary taxi driver. They are telling me that the taxi fare is affecting them, the fares. So I don't know the group of people that they have interviewed. Did they talk to the economists? Did they talk to the ordinary Ghanaian that is feeling it? Did they talk to the bank workers that have lost their job? Did they talk to the ordinary Ghanaian citizens that have lost their job? I don't know, but I can only think that they are speaking the minds of the NPP, and this should be coming from the NPP.
How is it that they would be speaking the minds of the NPP? This is the EIU, the same EIU that put out reports that we've all lauded as credible.
What I'm not surprised about is when, as part of their report, they claim that the NPP, that there will be lower voter turnout because of apathy. And if you look at what Madam Jane Mensah and the EC are doing, you will notice that the opportunity for people to be out of the register is higher than this. So I'm sure that it's at the back of it. And what the MPP want to do with the elections is what makes them say that.
What would they want to do with the elections?
We all saw Iwas West Wuogon. If you look at Iwas West Wuogon elections, when there was supposed to be elections, peaceful elections in the morning, by 2-3 hours time, everybody was chased out of the place with guns. And at the end of the day, what was the result? a low turnout. So I'm sure that this is what informs their report. That's what I believe did happen, yes.
But instead of being dismissive about such a report that is coming at such a time, some would say that you should be calling it as a blessing so that you can right all your wrongs ahead of time.
I have not dismissed anything. I'm not underrating the report. And yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm saying that they have woken us up more. They've armed us with more information and how to go about it. And that's exactly what we'll be doing. And I'm not sure you want us to tell you what we'll be doing. Do you want to know that?
Of course. If you do, I'll be happy, but it looks like you won't. But the same report also talks about some of the promises made by the Akufo-Addo administration. The One District, One Factory, for instance, being overly ambitious. They also talk about corruption going to be deepening ahead of the election 2020. Maybe it's for both sides, isn't it?
Oh, yes. But if you say corruption is going to be deepened, and you know Ghanaians hate corruption. And if you say the economy, there will be apathy in the MPP, and obviously if there's apathy, they're going to lose seats. And so if they lose the seat, it means that we'll win the seat.
But if there's apathy, it affects both parties.
No, it doesn't affect, it wouldn't affect the NDC, because you see, normally when you are in opposition, you put your house together earlier than when you are in government. And so they would have to deal with a lot. And fortunately, we are almost done with our parliamentary elections, and we are getting out to the next stage of reconciling our members and everybody getting on board. And if we succeed, I'm sure that we are done with it. And as the national organizer of the party, we are looking at how to get to our people and do some orientation with them, how to put up a reconciliation team to move into those. And I'm sure that we'll be succeeding at the end of the day, because Ghanaians are really feeling it. Madam, you need to go to the street.
You heard there the national organizer of the NDC. So this report just came in going into the weekend. That's on Friday. And that's their reaction to it, their immediate reaction to it. But we've been joined on the phone also by the national organizer of the ruling NPP, Mr. Samuel Uku. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. It appears things will go in your favor according to the EIU report. But it looks like it will not be easy. You are seen as a custodian of the economy than the NDC. And so things will go for you. But there are a lot of things they talk about, industrialization, for instance, the area of creation of jobs. If that is not addressed, they are saying that the NDC will compete favorably against the NPP. Your immediate reaction to this report?
Thank you very much, MFI, and a very good evening to your cherished listeners. First of all, I thought I'll be given the opportunity to react to some few things said by the NDC's General Secretary, or we'll come back to that issue.
We'll come to that issue shortly. We'll address.
Okay, so let me first of all take on what Hamidu Akamba spoke about. Well, the NPP welcomes the EIU report, and however, we won't be complacent, and we've said it right from day one. But we know that as a government and as a party, we've performed creditably well in spite of the challenges that we faced when we assumed the reins of power. And this was an economy that was almost bankrupt. It had to take the government of President Akufo-Addo to put it back on a sound footing. Mind you, we're under the IMF direction. The government of President Akufo-Addo has taken us out of the Bretton Woods institution. The NDC, when they were in power, and I want to quote Mr. Mahama, former President Mahama, he said that restoring the teacher training and nursing training allowance definitely was going to collapse the economy. The NPP, we have restored the teacher training, nursing training allowance, and so the economy hasn't collapsed. So if there's a report that suggests that the NPP is a better manager of the economy or better custodian of the economy, you don't need to be an astrologist to also buy into that. Again, on the issue of industrialization. However, we also as a party, we take some notes where we believe that we need to strengthen or dot the I's and cross the T's as a government and as a party, we will. For instance, if you talk about industrialization and our ambitious one district, one factory policy and the promise that we made to the Ghanaian people, as we speak, at least about 70 of these factories, 70, have either been commissioned or in partnership with government. They are fully established now or expanded so they can take in many more people or expand their line of production.
Yeah, but we're just over a year to go. What you promised is every district will have a factory.
Evans, this is a government. Let me be very honest with you. The NPP is so determined to honor every bit of our manifesto promise. But what I can also tell you that if successive governments had even made that attempt, or the previous NDC administration had even started with any of these, I'm sure by now we should be counting about 200 and something.
Yeah, but we're going with what you promised us, not what others failed to do.
That's what I'm saying. But if you take the NPP's manifesto as it is today, as a government and as a party, we've honored in excess of 70% of the promises that we made. And the Vice President on numerous occasions seems to also have spoken eloquently on these matters. Likewise, government spokespersons. So we are so determined to honor this promise of one district, one factory. We believe that with the encouragement and with the support from people like you in the media, with constructive criticisms as well as a government and as a party, we should be able to get to our final destination.
Yeah, but
so we welcome the EIU report. We won't be complacent. We strongly believe that we are on the right path as a government.
You say you're on the right path. Like just a quick quote from the EIU report that you say you welcome. It says, quote, corruption in the public sector remains endemic. That is what it says. And you know how this country's elections have almost always been run on a party's record on dealing with corruption. This is the EIU's verdict on how you've handled the all-important subject of corruption. That is endemic.
Well, I'm sure when they talk about corruption within the public sector doesn't simply mean government appointees. Let's be very clear on that. Public sector talks about the bureaucracy, talks about the whole system of machinery. And then having just the appointees there doesn't necessarily mean that corruption being endemic within the public sector means corruption is endemic in government. So there must be clear distinction between this. However, if you look at the result of President Akufo-Addo with the establishment of these of the OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and also resourcing SRAG and the investigating bodies, when it has to do with administrative justice or injustice, or when it has to do with corruption and corruption allegations and all, the determination of government to also get to the bottom of it is commendable. But then you can't fight corruption when even budgetary allocations to these institutions. Check the budgetary allocation at the end is when it has to do with SRAG and the other investigative bodies. So yes, you and I will agree that corruption in itself has been endemic in our system, endemic in the soil. And this government is so much determined that at least we will set the right tone for corruption to be unattractive to public office holders and within the public sector. That's why the president and the government has not shied away at all. Anytime any of my colleagues or anybody in government or within the government machinery has been accused or even allegedly has been accused of engaging in acts of corruption or misapplication or misappropriation of funds.
Yeah, I know you say that, but you are an astute politician, and you know that
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
But my point is, you acknowledge that in politics, perception is reality. The perception, at least out there, and which the EIU report is capturing, is that it is endemic. I know you say the president has spoken last week and said he's doing all to fix the problem of corruption and is winning the war. But the EIU report, like as we've heard many civil society people say, suggests that the war is not being won. That is the perception. That can hurt a political party in an election.
Well, in politics, one thing I agree with you will be perception. But also, when nothing is being done about it, that is where we have a problem. So it's just like he's saying Rome was not built in a day. Yes, but if the builders of Rome are selling the building materials, Rome won't be built. And that's why, as the safekeeper of our post and of the public press, President Akufo-Addo has ensured that any time something that must be investigated, it will be investigated. And where one person or groups of people or people must also face the law, he clearly will open the doors of for the investigative bodies to do their work.
Now, let's bring in Mr. Joshua Kamba back on the line. He's the national organizer of the NDC. Welcome to Newsnight, Mr. Kamba. So I'll start off with you on this note, though. I know you told me earlier that this report is discriminatory. It looks like the NPP put them up to this, which most people would disagree with you. But let's talk about portions of this report. The Election Watch, for instance, it talks about the remainder of the President Akufo-Addo's tenure improving. I know it's something that you talk about, that times are hard and things are difficult under this administration. But this report tells us that things will improve, things will not stay the way it is. Your reaction?
The report tells us that things are not going to be the same because
the president and his party have failed Ghanaians. You and I will know that almost the day the president met the Ghana Bar Association, he threw his hands up in the air just to tell Ghanaians that I'm unable to fight corruption, even though I accept that I'm a clearing agent, I clear people of corruption. I'm unable to fight corruption. The EIU report is saying that it will be more, that we will see more of that. Is that right? And so I'm sure it's at the back of what the president himself are going to say at the bar conference that has actually informed the decision that the MPP and my brother Sammy Oku actually do admit that he welcomes this report and welcomes everything that he says about corruption, that there's corruption happening. He's trying to say that it's the public sector. We have ministers currently as we talk. We have even the finance minister at the point was accused. What did happen? We are dealing with the youth authority currently as we're talking. What is happening to it? Are we aware of they being taken to court? We know of many of such accusations that have gone where the president himself have come to say that, listen, I can't see anything wrong with these people, and for that matter, there's no wrongdoing. And then he goes ahead. Let's look at the issue of Bust. We are aware that the president said there was no wrongdoing. Why is Alfred Obi out of Bust today? What took him out? So is that how to fight corruption? Is that? And I'm saying that this is not going to help the MPP. The NDC is better managers of the economy, and we did it before. And so the previous EIU report has said that the NDC had managed this economy very well. And then anytime there's a new government, that the MPP was going to win, and the MPP was going to succeed in governing this country. What has happened? They've messed up the country. My brother Samuel Okudan says that, the issue of we went to take loan and we did that. We did that when you came. Did you stop it? You continued. So for me, I think that the MPP is on its way out, and the NDC will work hard and make the difference and make sure that we win the election 2020.
We're grateful for your time, Mr. Joshua Kamba, but we'll wrap up with you, Mr. Samuel Oku, the issue that you can't resist the temptation not to talk about. At the NDC's press conference earlier today, Mr. Asiedu Nketia, you heard him talk about this issue that we've been talking about, the Asantehene Otumfuo Seitu's address at the UN today, over the weekend, I must say. He thinks that this talk about whether former President Mahama was persuaded to concede defeat in 2016 or not is just a diversionary tactics. And then truly, if we're talking about a true Democrat, it makes former President Mahama a true Democrat than the current President, Mr. Akufo-Addo.
Let me quickly get this thing off. I'm not too sure the channel or the station that Joshua Kamba listened to or watched when the president delivered his speech to the Ghana Bar. He did not throw his hands in the air. The president gave a very good account of himself and what his government, the NPP administration, has done in fighting or helping to curb or make corruption unattractive. So we are strong on the ground. We are also resolute, and we are clear in our minds that we have done a better job when it comes to fighting corruption, endemic corruption, and also corruption within the public sector. So let me give that a solid defense of our government. Well, let me go back to Johnson Asiedu Nketiah's allusion. Well, he was blowing hot and cold. And at a point in time, I didn't really get the drift of what he was trying to say. For instance, if he is saying that, there's a scientifically engaged Mr. Mahama. One breath, the NDC is telling us that Mr. Mahama on his own volition decided to step down or relinquish power or accept defeat. In another breath, we are also saying that, let's assume that he was even persuaded to concede defeat. He's a better Democrat or something. I struggle to get a drift. But to make a very forceful point on it, the NPP is not pitching Asantehene against Mr. Mahama. The revered Ken delivered a speech on the world stage. The NDC, the former chief of staff, Mr. Mahama's former chief of staff, also issued a statement to rebut what the Asantehene said. So I struggled to find out where the NPP comes into the equation. One, the NPP did not deliver the speech or write the speech for the Asantehene. The NPP also did not write the statement for Mr. Julius Deba. So it's a case between the NDC and Menchia Palace. But if you also ask, in 2012, then candidate Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party, after a visit paid to him by President Yayi Boni of Benin. Then candidate Akufo-Addo said, well, we disagree with the verdict of the Electoral Commission. However, we will call for calm. We will ask our supporters that, look, let's take the court route and then let's put our case before the justices of the Supreme Court. This was a complete reversal of what had happened in other places. For instance, in Kenya, where it led to thousands of people being slaughtered because of politically related violence or electoral violence. Nana Akufo-Addo decided to take the legal route, and in fact, post-2012, many Ghanaians have come to understand the whole electoral process. Not many people knew what was called a pink sheet. Not many people knew what was called a collation sheet. You and I were not there, it became a slogan. But post-2012, in 2016, almost every Ghanaian knew that we need to ensure that the details and what goes on the pink sheet becomes a true reflection of what happened at the various polling stations. So if they are telling me that for someone who helped deepen our democracy, expanded the frontiers of our democracy, and also helped in educating our people on electoral matters, cannot be a better Democrat. And I just don't get the NDs when it comes to some of these analysis.
Okay. And the discussion continues. We're grateful, though. We'll have to leave it here. And that's Mr. Samuel Uko. He's the national organizer of the NPP. And talk about corruption. The president has been speaking once again about his track record when it comes to corruption.
Well, he says allegations of corruption against members of his government without a solid proof will not attract his attention. He's, however, warning his government will come on hard on chief executive officers or state-owned enterprises who misconduct themselves on the job. Addressing members of the Georgia Traditional Council in the Oti region, President Akufo-Addo said calls by the opposition NDC to prosecute some members of his government in cases of alleged corruption without evidence, and indicated such calls will not be entertained.
Yesterday, I had the opportunity to speak to the chief executives, the chairpersons of the state enterprises who were in the meeting in the retreat. Took the opportunity to reiterate to them that I'm not going to shield anybody when it comes to this fight for corruption. That would be a denial of my oath of office. I should rather be the one to act, and that is what I'm trying to do, to make sure that so that the proper bodies can investigate the allegations. We can't be in a situation merely by an allegation condemning people. That one is not right. The matter has to be investigated, and if then something is found, then the appropriate remedies will be applied. But if nothing is found, if we have a situation whereby mere allegation is enough to convict people, then none of us would ever be in a position to form a government. All you have to do is to get up and say, oh, X is corrupt, and then that's the end of it. There has to be evidence to back it, and that is why you have to have the institutions of the state examining and going into it and finding the thing. Some people are complaining that some of those against whom the accusations are made are cleared. What, they want them to be convicted merely because people say so? I would not have any government like that. We want to have these things done on the basis of evidence, that there is proof that an allegation has been properly laid, and then the necessary measures will be taken.
You had the President Akufo-Addo. Now, the chiefs called on government to improve the road network in the area. President Akufo-Addo said despite limited resources, government will extend development to every part of the country.
I'm happy to hear that Georgia Traditional Council is in full support of my government. That's very good news. The best news will be in 2020, when you elect my friend Kofi Jamisi as the MP for Ketu North. That will be the best example of the support. And we're praying to the Almighty that that will be the case. Talk with the various matters that you have put before us, the state of the roads, the internal roads in Doje. I think all of these things are, and the expansion of infrastructure, the startup capital for women, all of these things are matters that I've taken very strong notice, and we're going to do our best to address each and every one of them in time for you to get relief. I think the matters you have brought are serious, they're appropriate, and the government will take them on board accordingly and make sure that at the end of the day you get the relief. My biggest problem is that I didn't receive much money when I came into office, empty treasury. So it is little by little that we're building up the treasury to be able to do all the things that need to be done. But you can be sure that we will be concentrating and delivering and making sure that all of these matters that you have raised here this afternoon are properly addressed. That is the duty of the central government, to make sure that development goes across our country in an even manner, so that all parts of Ghana, no matter where you come from, whether you supported the NPP government or didn't support the NPP party, you will get your fair share of the development of our country. That's the position that we're in, and we're going to make sure that that is maintained.
President Akufo-Addo. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. What are your thoughts and comments? Send them via WhatsApp is 0244340437. George Riafe, in the meantime, has the latest from the world of business. George, what do we have?
Well, MFA coming up in business, you're looking at the London-based Economist Intelligence Unit forecasting 6 Ghana cedis 30 pesos as the end-of-year rate to the dollar. And the Bank of Ghana moves to deal with the rise in non-performing loans as it engages the judiciary to fast-track hearings on bad debt. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Kingdom Books this year back to school promotion is in conjunction with Citidia Supermarket. Buy school items worth 100 Ghana cedis from Kingdom Books and get 12% discount voucher to purchase from Citidia and vice versa. School items include textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books across all Kingdom Books branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability is assured. For further information, call 0302-764209 or 0302-746101 and 0501-401050. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury, in a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments, and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the local currency would depreciate further in the coming months, ending the year at around 6 Ghana cedis 30 pesos. That's according to the latest Economist Intelligence Unit report on the country. We have more on what is the influence in this projection in the following Business Desk report.
Based on the Bank of Ghana's official quotes as captured on its website, the local currency is today selling at around 5 cedis 30 pesos. However, the situation is different when it comes to what the commercial banks are offering to clients, as our scans today show that $1 is going for about 5 cedis 50 pesos. It has been around 5 cedis 49 pesos and 5 cedis 51 peso range over the past 1 week. This is more of a sign of some stability. So, at this rate, if the Economist Intelligence Unit's prediction is anything to go by, then in the next 3 months it could go down further to reach 6 cedis 30 pesos. The local currency has come under some pressure over the weeks due to the investor sell-off of the country's bonds and the pickup in demand for dollars to finance these imports. The Bank of Ghana has also been on the market to equally meet the demands of banks. However, we cannot establish whether what's being supplied indeed met their demand. Market data suggests a pickup in dollar support for the banks over the past weeks. Some industry analysts would want to see the report by the Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU, as just a projection. This is because looking at the current reserve position of the Bank of Ghana and recent inflows from the cocoa syndication loan, the central bank should be in a strong position to support the cedi. There are also concerns about whether the pressure on the cedi is backed by real demand or speculative activities. Recent Bank of Ghana figures show that total foreign accounts in the commercial banks ending last year stood at $4 billion. But are these monies meant for business transactions, or some persons are just trying to use it to hedge against inflation?
And that was a Business Desk report. In a related development, the unit also doesn't see the Bank of Ghana reviewing its policy rates, which stands at 16% when it actually begins a meeting to review the health of the economy from tomorrow. Let's still stay on this subject because economist Professor Eric Osei-Sibe says the recent Economic Intelligence Unit verdict on the economy called for some drastic measures to firmly stabilize the economy. The unit's verdict is coming at a time when it's actually projecting some interesting times for the economy. While it's projecting that growth will pick up strongly and a fairly stable inflation, it is warning that spending could get out of hand. The unit also argued that recent measures to improve revenue might not get the desired results. Professor Sibe tells Joy Business government must look at reviewing its fiscal stance now.
So it behoves on the government to do some expenditure switch, and particularly moving funds from goods and services into the capex, so that you can have enough fiscal space to spend on the needed or the critical infrastructure that the people are looking for. And so you may not necessarily have to increase the amount of money allocated for expenditure, but you can, within the expenditure allocations, you can do some switching here and there. You make sure that you do not increase your wage bill, the compensation side of the budget so high, so that you can free some resources for other critical growth enhancing expenditures that have direct bearing on the people. So it has to be managed, and you do not have to yield to every pressure that comes from the people. Otherwise, you exacerbate the already high risk fiscal risk, and you may undermine the credibility of the budget process.
Professor Eric Osei-Sibe is an economist. Now, the Bank of Ghana has taken steps to help commercial banks recover loans they fear will not be paid back. We understand the central bank has written to these banks to submit a list of these bad debt cases with individuals and businesses. The regulator is planning to intervene on their behalf for the said cases to be fast-tracked by the judiciary. Now, recent Bank of Ghana data suggests that these non-performing loans are quite high, and it's impacting on credit growth among these commercial banks. Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Bankers Association, Alhassan Andani, has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's initiative. He tells
Joy Business. This could improve credit delivery and reduce the cost of credit in the country going forward.
All cases, once it travels that length, some of them can stay in the court for 4 or 5 years. By the time you recover, you've virtually destroyed value. So the idea of ensuring that we can get some judicial attention, and we're happy to resource the judiciary to do a fair job, but speedy job, so that we can, get a resolution and retain value for whatever, bad debts are sitting within that MPL book.
It looks like the governor is worried about the loan book growth. Is that what I get from the association position on dealing with the slow growth in loans to businesses?
Yes, I think it's quite justifiable for the governor, and indeed the general public. After all what they've gone through, the taxpayer has gone through in helping us to shape up the sector. It's only fair that we make credit more accessible, more affordable, and I think we've all taken that on board.
Alhassan Andani is the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers.
George, thank you very much. So, listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM, and today has been a big day for parents and children who are seeking placements into many senior high schools across the country. Many of you have joined us with your questions and concerns about that on our WhatsApp console. MFA, what are people saying on this?
Okay, so this one says, my child has aggregate 8, chose at this school as his first choice, but was placed in his 5th choice, Prempeh College, as a day student. And he says with his grades, even if you didn't place him in his first choice, he shouldn't have been made a day student because he wanted to be in Prempeh. There's another one also from Isaac Newton. He says that I disagree with Mr. William Kwetu because I personally chose the schools according to the rules and regulations, and he gives us the details of what it says. And then the system has a lot of problems. He should admit it and stop blaming it on parents for wrong selections. And this one from Jagos in Zion says, in fact, the senior high school's placement is causing trouble in this country too much. So can't the education system bring in a new process and that will help solve all these problems in which parents and their wards finding it difficult to be placed in senior high schools is a question that he's asking. And this one from Nana in Spintex says, Evans, I know someone who got aggregate 19 and got into Achimota. And this one also says, hi Evans, my daughter was not placed by the CSSPS, so I did a self-placement on Tuesday at Ahantaman Girls Senior High School, which happens to be one of the 5 schools we chose for her. I went to the school on Wednesday afternoon and found her name on their notice board. So we went home to start preparation to take her to school, only to learn that the GES says all those who did self-placement have been nullified and that they should redo it. And that's from Johnson in Takrady.
Well, there's a statement from the Education Ministry on these issues. I want to quickly share with you what it says. It says that, in essence, they've been tracking the problem, and they say that they state quite emphatically that this problem that we've been reporting and that many of you have sent to us should not be happening because the total vacancies available in schools far exceed the number of qualified candidates. I mean that there are enough schools to accommodate every single child. That is the Education Ministry's statement. They continue to say that the issues that we've heard and the parents have complained about are mainly to do with change of school. Says that is 90% of the complaints, change of school. But they also say others include change of track, program, residential status, and self-placement issues. So that is this is the Education Ministry's point. That many of the complaints that has come, in for overwhelming majority, 90% of them change of schools. People who already have placements but want to change it because they simply do not like the schools their wards are in. The remainder of the remaining 10%, the Education Ministry says that has to do with those who want to change their tracks, like if you want to green or gold, those who want to change the program, if you want to do your son has been given visual arts but you want to read science, those residential status, those who have been given day but want boarding, and then self-placement issues, as we've heard, those who place. And so that is the GES's point, that is the Education Ministry's point on this. They are informing the general public that a selection of schools is the prerogative, and I'm quoting, of the candidates, by extension parents and guardians. These choices cannot be changed by the GES or the computerized school selection and placement system. It says data received from the West Africa Examination Council is used, and parents and guardians are requested to accept placements the school to which the awards have been placed. So the Education Ministry says simply accept it and let your child go to the school you've been placed in. It says these choices were made by the students during the school selection process. Those who did not get their choice are requested to participate in the self-placement module on the CSSPS portal, which is the cssps.gov.gh or cssps.org. And we've seen today thousands of parents and their children have been at the Independence Square where the Solution Center is. 3 of them that we can count collapsed, unconscious. One of them, they had to pour water on them just to revive them. The Education Ministry says they have decentralized the solution centers, and they have one at the Greater Accra region, which is the Blaster Square. They have one in the Central region, the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Cape Coast. They have one in the Western North and Western regions, which is at the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Takrady. They have one in Volta and Oti regions in Mauli SHS. They have Ashanti region. You can go to the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Kumasi. They have Bono, Ahafo, Bono East regions. You can go to the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Sunyai. Northern, Northeast, Savannah regions. You can go to the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Tamale. If you're in the Upper East region, go to the GES Regional Office in Bogatanga. Okay. If you're in the Upper West region, go to the GES office in Wa. If you're in the Eastern region, go to the Ghana Education Service Regional Office in Koforidua. So this is to the information of parents who are stranded and frustrated tonight. You can also call the line 030-700 7777 if you want to. Well, so but that's information for parents who are stranded tonight. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. But keep coming. We'll share it with the concerns. And if we get the GES and Education Ministry, we'll put your concerns to them.
You know how that feels, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, it happened to me when I was going to JSS in the 90s. I had to struggle.
The 90s, and the problem still persists. Then
there was no SPC. What's it called?
But this is supposed to have improved the system. Well, and if it is still the same, I am worried because my daughter is.
But if you listen to the Education Ministry, they say it's just a case of parents wanting to change their schools.
That's not what the parents are telling us. We've had a number of them speak to us today. They've been told that they are supposed to go there. They go there, buy all the uniforms, trunks, trousers, and everything, only to get there, and you're told that
after they have confirmed that their names have been there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the problem. But let's head to Kumasi now, because the medical examination is ongoing at the KNUST hospital to ascertain the identities of 2 decomposed bodies of children that were dumped at an uncompleted building in Apimso in the Ashanti region. Residents of the area suspect their neighbor whose estranged wife recently returned their children to him may have killed and dumped them there. We'll hear shortly from the police, but first, Love FM's Prince Apia visited the area and came through with this report.
The ages of the deceased children, according to residents, range between 3 and 6. Residents say there was misunderstanding between a mason, identified only as Kofi, and his wife, who packed out of the matrimonial home. She said to have returned the children later to their father, who has not been seen in the area in the last few days.
I think we suspect a guy here. The guy is having 2 kids, and he and his wife has got a little problem over there. The woman went to her family, her family, and the woman came and when she was going, she took the 2 kids away.
Okay.
And later, when I returned from work, they told me the lady had brought
she had brought the children back. Okay.
Back again.
So where is the man now? Do you know?
No. We can't find the phone and whatever is stretched off.
When was the last time you saw him?
In about 2 weeks ago.
Residents recall it is the 4th time in 7 years such crimes have been committed in the area, with some victims being adults. Here is Assemblyman of Didiako electoral area, Emmanuel Odro.
As will be the head that a common so I can be a move fee and now head a berry was who said, or map said, do come on be a pray, but who say, I'm pretty honey.
The situation has raised concerns about security in the community. Residents say they live in fear. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, the KNUST District Commander, Chief Superintendent Godfred Obing-Asare, says though they are looking for the husband of this lady, the outcome of the medical examination could determine their next line of action. He's been speaking to Prince Apia.
They were there for about 2 months, and the man came to demand for the children. So according to the lady, she gave the children to the man, and she did not hear of them until this rumor came out, or information came out, that some 2 children have been found dead at Apimso. And when she went there, when she came there, she told police that the children are hers. Today, 16th September 2019, we have been to the hospital very early to get the medical officers to assist us with the next line of action. So as I am talking to you now, police together with the mother of the deceased children are at the hospital with the medical officers. Now, the information we had was that since the children were staying with the father, and this father is not around, and the children too are dead, we are looking for the man to come and tell us where he left the children.
You heard the KNUST District Commander, Chief Superintendent Godfred Obing-Asare. Time now for sports.
Yes.
What a weekend it was.
Yes, for your Manchester club or your London club. And Evans Mensah is smiling.
Why, she has 2 clubs?
Yes, she supports Chelsea in Manchester. You forgotten?
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, Manchester, Chelsea.
What's the latest?
I don't know which club that one is. Right, so Ash Gold, CEO of Frederick Champion, believes his side have got a 60% chance of qualifying to the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup after the 3-2 victory over Moroccan side RS Berkane. The Miners conceded 2 sloppy goals at the Lenclay Stadium to Berkane, a situation that many believe hands the advantage to the Moroccan side. Mr. Chiampo, however, believes their 3-2 victory gives them an edge over the opponents in the second leg.
The fact remains that Ashanti Gold won, and we have the advantage now. What if you go there and the game ends in a draw? What if you go there and we beat them? What if you go there and we also score? The fact of the matter is that we didn't lose and we didn't draw. Some drew at home, some lost at home. We won, and we must be proud of that. It's the same thing happened when the Majors played 1-1 with Australia. Everybody thought that was it because we were traveling to North Africa and then they're going to lose. But they went and won there, and it's possible that we will go and win. As the penny must score to progress, you understand? They must score before they can progress. It means they're going to play open game. And as we saw them here, we can beat them. We can score against them in Morocco. So if they open up in a bit to chase goal, we would also take advantage of the same situation they took advantage of in Ghana. So we are not out. In fact, if you want to rate it 60-40, then it should be 60 in favor of Ashanti Gold and 40 in favor of Saudi Kani.
That's the CEO of Ashanti Gold Football Club, Frederick Achiampo. That's it for sports.
Now, police in Ashaiman have begun investigations into the suspected murder of 3 security men whose bodies were found with some parts missing. The bodies of the 3, Ibrahim Bagada, Sumaila, Joshua Fugu and Kobina, were discovered at different locations on Sunday. All 3 were found with their clothes covering their heads.
Police reported, cited by Joy News, the report said they also found blood oozing from their eyes, nostrils, ears and mouth of one of them. Now, owner of the Apsonic shop, Abdul Razak Ibrahim, where one of the watchmen, Ibrahim Bagada Sumaila, was killed, has been narrating the incident to Joy News.
They killed our watchman around Atatek area there, at our Apsonic shop over there, Mr. Abdul Razak Ibrahim shop. Sunday night. That they did that job. So I was in the house that they called me. I get a call for one brother that they killed my watchman at my shop. And I rushed from the house to the shop. And I went and see that it's true that they killed my watchman and come out his cell.
They removed what?
His cell.
His cell? As in his manhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, from there I rushed to Ashama police station and give a report. And police took their car and we come to the shop.
Police have already started investigations into the murders, suspected murders, and we're working to get the very latest on this. When we do in our subsequent bulletins, we'll bring the update to you also on myjoyonline.com.
And something big is happening on the 22nd of September. I'm hoping to build a mansion in the future.
Yes.
And
I know you started
I'm not
already.
taking the have I?
That's why you're going to go to the
Habitat
Fair,
Habitat Fair
this Saturday. In fact, starting from It's starting
20th?
from 20th?
Yeah.
All the way through to Sunday. And so you want to make a date. Edward Tinkrine spoke to Journeys ahead of the 2019 Habitat Fair happening from the 20th to the 22nd of September at the Accra International Conference Center. It's one of those principal architectural firms dealing with this, with Molders Design and Build Limited.
I advise you to, first of all, be really convinced about what you want. Let's say, of course, you don't really know exactly whether you go for a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom or whatever, but you should at least have a plan. Let's say you're a young man, maybe you're planning to get married soon, you're going to get kids. You should look into all of that. Okay. So that based on that, you're able to come up with something that will work for you. Because if you should later go and put up, let's say, a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom house, and later you, let's say, decide to get married to 2 wives with a whole lot of kids, right now accommodation will be a problem. Okay, so definitely you need to know what you want. And based on that, I would advise you that, okay, if this is what you want, let's go it this way or that way.
So I have come to see the architects. They've given me all the advice, what I need to know and what I need to make that important decision. But let me find out from him, the principal architect. So now what next?
Okay, the next step now is for we to get your site plan. Okay. If you have it available, if you have it here now, we can take it and come up with a scheme.
So that's as advice for you, MFR, as you build your mansion. The question is, do you need a mansion?
Yes, I do.
It's just going to be you and your 2 beautiful children, too big for you. The point you need to note is what he says.
Will be there,
you have to go and consult first, and all the consultants are going to be at the Habitat Fair. So go and get a consultancy before you put your money into it. Is the point of the sound.
Before building your mansion?
I don't have a mansion.
Remember that the 2019 Journeys Habitat Fair is brought to you by Elegant Homes, General Construction and Super Sim Cement. Build your dream. The fair is also sponsored by Pet Talk, Vodafone, Fixed Broadband, DBS Roofing, Domod Roof, McDan, Millennium Home Insurance and El Beam Realty. And it's happening from the 20th to the 22nd of September. And just before we go, the presiding member of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is tonight condemning in strong terms the attack on Journeys photojournalist David Andor. The Assembly also says it is carrying out its own investigations, hoping to exact punishment to other individuals who may have scuttled the Joy News Clean Ghana campaign. And that campaign is coming up this Wednesday. Keep your environment clean. And that's it for tonight's edition of News Night. I am Emefa Apau.
My name is Evan Spencer, and enjoy the rest of your evening.